Ken, we're talking about Joe Biden a lot tonight. And obviously this Hunter Biden, Joe Biden email thing is a little too complicated, in my opinion, to have the general public understand it. People just don't follow politics that closely. However, you bring up social media. Social media censored it, and everybody knows that. I've talked about it a million times. Then the GOP, United States senators, issuing threats, subpoena this, subpoena that. Then they did subpoena them earlier this week, and they're not backing off at all. They're doubling down. Doesn't that just say to you they're not scared at all that the GOP is actually going to do something?
You know, I mean, first of all, the GOP, I mean, let's say Trump's reelected. Let's say he keeps the Senate. He still has to get things through the House. He doesn't. I mean, he has the ability of doing some things as a president under executive order, but he's not going to. And I think some of the lawsuits that are coming out from the DOJ are probably more hopeful for long-term change than a bunch of senators yelling at somebody at a press conference. Look, those things don't mean much. Those hearings, it gives, you know, as much as I like Ted Cruz bashing the heck out of the new mountain man who's running Twitter, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't do anything for us. This needs to be a sustained effort. There needs to be some smarter thinking. The whole 230 thing is not something that's going to take us to Valhalla, but they definitely need to put some holes in this, and it's not going to be an easy thing at all. Look, then they're hugely powerful. I mean, imagine if you're Google and you have access to every U.S. senator's Gmail. Gee, you decide to stick your nose into the middle of that. You give me every Gmail account in Washington, D.C., I could elect Jesse Kelly as the next president of the United States if I chose to abuse it, which I would.
I don't think anybody could climb that mountaintop, Ken. There's just nobody. And in all seriousness, you bring that up. And I actually have had people, because that's just, you know, when you're on TV or doing radio or stuff like that, people are naturally going to say, why don't you run for office again? Or why don't you run for office? While I want Trump to win, I'm rooting for Trump. I feel like I don't share values with either party now in a lot of ways when it comes to things like debt and spending. I've never felt more out of touch with either party in those specific ways. You can't find a single Republican on a national level now to speak out against forcing insurance companies to cover people with pre-existing conditions, when that's like the entire reason healthcare costs are high. And we used to yell about it. And I don't know. I'm done wasting my breath on some of this stuff, Ken.
Well, when you're Senator Kelly, you can bring that bill up. I mean, look, priorities change every time, and it's almost amusing sometimes to watch the sides change colors. It's like had Hillary Clinton won the presidency but got a minority of the vote, we'd hear every single Republican complaining about the Electoral College. Instead, it's every single Democrat. I mean, a lot of times they just, every party that's been in power stops caring about the national debt. I've seen that my whole life. And the other parties, you're ruining America. America's children are crying because of the debt you're doing. And then they flip and the other guy starts spending money. And then they're like, well, now we care about the children and the debt you're giving. So some of that is just political expediency. But look at how one man, look, 4 years ago, both parties were also like, oh, immigrants, yeah, they're fine. I mean, Democrats were like, yeah, bring them here. We know they're going to be Democratic voters. Republicans elected candidates down to a man and woman. We're like, oh, we don't want to look like we're racist. So no, don't talk about illegal immigration. One crazy dude comes down on an escalator and says, there's a lot of murders and rapists coming in there. And he single-handedly brought the Republican Party back on his side on that issue.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.